this video I'm going to be reviewing the brand new BMW M240i XDrive. We're going to take it for a bit of a drive. I'm going to give you a quick overview, and we're also going to be heading to Cafe in the Machine because that's where I do my monthly Roadster at me. If you don't follow me on Roadster, make sure to click the link in the description. The app has plenty of cool features, and that's how you'll know when I do my meets. Now, before I touch on how this car actually looks, because I think elements of the M240i XDrive look pretty phenomenal if you ask me, let's quickly touch on how much this thing is going to cost you if you decide to buy one. Well, prices for the M240i XDrive start at £45,000. This one, however, is ranging in the region of £48,000. This one has things such as the adaptive headlights, and it's got a few extra things such as the Harman Kardon sound system, because that comes as part of the tech pack, which this thing actually has. Now, in terms of what we get from this thing, this car runs the absolutely phenomenal 3-litre 6-cylinder B58 engine, which we all know and love from the likes of the BMW M140, and it is running 374 brake horsepower and will produce 500 Newton meters of torque. Now, the interesting thing for me is that BMW claim that this will do 0 to 62 in 4.3 seconds. Now, I know for a fact that my friend Joe Achilles has timed this car with a race box out in Germany, and it has done it in 3.7 seconds. So much, much quicker than what BMW claim. Of course, that is helped by the 4-wheel drive XDrive system. It is coupled with an 8-speed ZF gearbox, and as you can see on this car, we do have 19-inch alloy wheels. We don't have Michelin sport tyres on this. We do have Pirelli P0s, which is a slight disappointment considering the fact that the PS4s are a much better tyre all round. I think we need to start talking about how good this thing looks, particularly from the front end. One of the things that I love about this already is the fact that BMW have, I guess, not ditched, because you have that in a lot of the newer cars, but they have gone back to what we know and love in the kind of traditional kidney grille form. It does make the front look extremely aggressive. It's got very sharp lines. It has a really, really good look to it. And actually what you'll see here in terms of the grille, it's a bit of a smart grille, which opens and closes depending on how much air the glorious B58 needs to run. The other thing that I absolutely love about this thing is the colour. It almost reminds you of back in the E36 days, the kind of techno-violet colour you'd see on the old E36 M3. It is a very good looking car. For a 2 Series, it almost feels a little bit longer. It feels like it's grown a bit. That front end, there's a big gap between the kind of front windscreen and the bonnet. So it is a very, very cool rear-wheel drive based platform. That's what this has been derived off of. It is 4-wheel drive, but it does have a rear bias in terms of the way it performs, which is great. There are a few other little details that have gone into this car. We do get the kind of M3 style mirrors here. A lot of people would actually pay extra to put these on their old BMW 1 Series M lights and 2 Series M lights, but it comes standard. I think this is very cool. I think it looks nice, and it goes with the lines of the car, which look very, very sharp. They look very, very aggressive. This does, of course, have the adaptive headlights, which is very good. You can tell because it's got that kind of gold line in the middle here. That's how you know the car's got adaptive headlights. And overall, in terms of its overall styling, it looks really, really good until you get to the rear of the car. Now, this for me is almost the element of the car which I don't like. And it's almost because when I look at the rear of this car, just taking a look at it kind of head on, it reminds me so much of Angry Birds. You can picture it. Once you've seen it, you won't be able to unsee it. But it almost feels like the lights are a little bit too squashed. They're too put in here to the side. And it just, I don't know, the dimensions of it just don't work for me in terms of just the way the rear looks. The rest of the car, however, looks pretty phenomenal. We get some pretty kind of aggressive rear diffuser on here, as well as the dual exit exhaust. So overall, look, in terms of a platform, in terms of overall styling, I like it a lot. As we get inside the car, it's a very familiar feel. Now, I think this is a very interesting thing, and I know that a lot of manufacturers, Audi do it as well, BMW have done it, where they take a whole load of the interiors from other models to save on cost. But ultimately, my worry with this is it becomes too similar to most of the other range. I mean, you've got, you know, the usual kind of center dash, which you first saw on the 8 Series. It's made its way through 3 Series, 4 Series, and now new 2 Series. We've got a very familiar center display in here with the operating system 7, which actually, by the way, is a flipping good system. It's probably one of the best systems in terms of overall driver infotainment. This car also, however, does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so the majority of us users are going to be using Apple CarPlay. Now, this for me, pièce de resistance, these seats look and feel incredible. They are extremely comfortable. They are the M Sport seats. They are very, very good. Very, very nice bolstering here on the sides. And actually, I think they look really nice with this kind of very nice blue stitching pattern, and of course, a couple of M performance stitching. Well, it wouldn't be a BMW without the overkill of M Performance logos. We also do get something different here on the door cards. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but this here is almost like a little LED light bar which lights up. It looks very good at night. BMW like to go on the thicker side when it comes to steering wheels. It does look nice, it does feel nice. This is of course heated, which I will be turning on now because it is relatively cold, but I prefer the thinner steering wheels. But overall, as a platform and as a package, it is a very nice interior. If we come in here to the inside, of course it is the 8-speed ZF gearbox, but what we see here, the center console, the center tunnel, very familiar with what we've seen in other BMW models. Now, this does have the tech pack, as I said earlier on, which means that we do get wireless charging for your phone. We do get things such as the Harman Kardon sound system. And yeah, overall, it's a very nice place to be. Oh, bag of crisps. Now that's a quick little overview of the exterior and the interior styling of the new BMW M240i XDrive. But the bit that I'm most excited about is just to kind of take it out on the road and see what it's like to drive. As we're approaching a national speed limit, it would only be, well, it'd be rude not to do a quick 0 to 62 test and just feel what that B58 with that really good low down torque, 500 Newton meters, does coupled with the 8-speed ZF box. So we put it into Sport Plus, we'll line her up and we'll see what 4.3 or 3.7 0 to 60 looks like. Foot on the brake, activate, launch control. Oh God, it's so quick. It's got so much low down grunt. Oh my word, that's brilliant. And of course, because this is 4-wheel drive or X-drive per se, yes, it's rear wheel bias, but that front axle does an incredibly good job at pulling you, and there's zero wheel spin whatsoever. You can see I'm in the current sport mode, and you can, oh, well, I can feel anyway, it's a lot more bumpy as opposed to being in the adaptive mode. The interesting thing for me as well with all new kind of BMWs is the sound. The sound is always something that's going to be up for debate for a lot of people, potentially as well now in the world of OPF. But one of the good things about this car is that you definitely know that you've got that B58 engine underneath the hood, which looks brilliant from this angle because I've got that kind of old school M3 style M-Power dome at the front. It looks great. I think it has a really nice presence to it. It does make me feel like I'm driving something a little bit more special than just a standard 2 Series. That will knock it into manual as well. Oh dear, someone's had a bad day. Ouch. That's what happens when you take a corner too quickly. You need XDrive. You get some nice noises out the back of the car as well. Whether they're real or not is up for debate as well, but I like it. It sounds good. Handling. Yeah, it's got a good feel to it. I'm impressed with this thing, you know. What impresses me the most, more than anything, is the amount of power all the way through the rev range. You've got so much low down grunt in it. I think that B58 with 500 Newton meters of torque really kicks in around about the kind of 2000 RPM. So you get all that power and it doesn't really let off all the way through the rev range, which is great. If I drop it into first, here we go. It is relentless, and you can really lean on this thing as well, which is what I do like. In Sport Plus mode, with that suspension being pretty firmed up, it does feel pretty agile, it does feel good on its feet, it doesn't feel cumbersome whatsoever, even though looking at this car from the outside, you'd argue the ride height is pretty high for a stock car, and it does need lowering pretty quickly if I was to buy one of these, but it does a good job at balancing the weight of this car. It's just got good balance and feel throughout. I do like it. I think it's really nice. From a driver's position, obviously my only criticism, I have this for a lot of BMWs if I'm honest with you, is the size of the steering wheel. I think I've been fortunate to drive a lot of Porsches, and Porsche for me is kind of the gold standard in terms of what a steering wheel should feel like, but this isn't necessarily catered to everybody who's going to buy a Porsche. Not at all. This is, for me, it's almost a mass market car because it does so much. Final thoughts on the BMW M240i XDrive after my first drive review. Look, as a whole, I think it's a really, really good car, very capable package. I love the way it feels around the corners. I love the performance. The performance actually has really surprised me. It is so quick for what it is. The one thing that I didn't mention inside the car was that you can opt for what is called, I guess, the M Sport Pro kit. And what the M Sport Pro kit does is it gives you similar 19-inch wheels, but they are wider tracks. You actually have, you know, they fill out the arches a bit more, so it gives you a bit more, well, you get more tarmac, so you get more rubber on the tarmac, so it gives you more front end grip. But also what you do get, you get these kind of arches, especially on the rear, so they kind of stick on arches, which just widen the track ever so slightly. So yeah, that's the Pro pack. You do have to pay extra for it, but this thing just out the box, I really do like it. I think it looks stunning. It definitely goes, and out here at Cafe in the Machine, it's definitely drawn a bit of a crowd over its time when it was parked up. But there you go, guys. That is my first drive review of the new BMW M240i XDrive. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button. Comments are always welcome, and I'll see you all very soon on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.